Welcome. This is a yoga series where we're going to be working on developing our strength in our body. I'm going to show you a set of poses that you can please do for a longer period of time. I'm going to go through them each once slowly, and I'll explain to you exactly the benefits of each one as well. Just remember, for yoga you'll need a mat. Make sure that you don't eat anything too heavy before yoga for obvious reasons, and have plenty of water next to you. Let's start with the first position. Position is Utkatasana chair pose. Really fantastic pose for strengthening the lower body, particularly the hips, the knees, the ankles, and also great toning exercise. I'm going to show you two ways to do this asana. So, first of all, have your feet in a neutral position. I'd like you to have your hands out in front of you. You're going to imagine you're going to be sitting back onto a chair. As you do this, keep your spine neutral, so don't arch your back. Keep your pelvis tucked. Engage your glutes, engage your quads. When you sit back with your hips, make sure that your knees do not go over your toes. And hold this position. Keep your eyes up to the ceiling. Hold for anything from 5 to 10 seconds before slowly coming up. Repeat this 5 times. Another variation of this posture is bring your hands up to the ceiling. Make sure that everything is engaged, your shoulders are down, your spine is neutral. As you inhale and sit back with your hips, keep your spine straight, don't arch your lower back. And hold, and if you want to sit even further down, you can. Hold the position for 5 to 10 seconds. Feel the burn in your quads and slowly come up. Our next strength pose is Warrior One. Stand with your feet in neutral position. Now open both your feet away from your hips, wider than your hips. Let's start with Warrior One to the right. Move your right foot in a 90-degree angle to the right. Move your left toes slightly in at 45 degrees. Now with your pelvis, don't tilt your pelvis out, tuck your pelvis in. Extend your arms, and I just want you to move your knee down, bend your right knee. If you feel like you can get a little bit further, just widen your stance a little bit more for me. Keep your toes in the same position and bend the right knee. You want to imagine eventually that your right leg is perpendicular to the floor. With your left thigh, engage the knee, engage the quads, so there's no bend in the leg. And I'd like you to hold this position for me. Make sure the feet are grounded. Extend the fingers. Inhale and exhale. This is a fantastic exercise for strengthening the shoulders, the back, but also strengthening the lower body. And return with your arms down. Let's repeat on the other side. Move your right foot in at 45 degrees. Turn your left foot out, completely straight, pelvis tucked in, arms extended, and I'd like you to bend the left knee. Make sure that again you are perpendicular to the floor, your feet are nicely planted. Engage the right knee and engage the right quad. Extend those arms out straight. Inhale and exhale. Return to neutral, and you can repeat the same exercise, right and left, 3 to 5 times. The third strengthening exercise is downward facing dog. To get into a downward facing dog, you're going to come onto all fours into a tabletop position. Downward dog is fantastic for strengthening the upper body, but also a lovely deep stretch on our lower body. So join me on the mat. Come into a tabletop position. Make sure that your weight is evenly distributed. So wrists, elbows, shoulders are in alignment. Your knees and hips are in alignment, and your toes are grounded. Now as you inhale, exhale, you're going to lift your hips up to the ceiling. Now, in the beginning, instead of focusing on getting the heels down, just focusing on lengthening the spine first. Make sure the weight is evenly distributed in your hands and your palms are down. Push the ground away from you. Really lengthen the spine first. Eventually, over time, you can start to release the heels to the floor and bring your chest and your chin towards your lower body. This will take time. The focus in the beginning is a nice straight spine. Inhale and exhale here for 10 breaths. The fourth strengthening pose is a plank position. The plank is fantastic for toning our abdominals, but strengthening our upper body as well. So to come into a plank position, join me in the tabletop position from the previous pose. Make sure that the weight is evenly distributed. Make sure the weight is in the palm of your hands, nice and even. As you inhale, bring the right foot back, come onto the ball of your foot, and then the left foot back. Make sure you engage your glutes, engage your quads, and hold this position. Avoid the chin coming in. Keep your eyes looking towards the floor, maybe the top of your mat. Engage your core and hold from anything from 10 to 30 seconds, depending on your strength. The next pose is a boat pose, a fantastic strengthening exercise for abdominals, but also our backs and our hip flexors. So join me in a seated position on the mat and extend your legs out in front of you. Make sure your spine is always neutral, never rounded in this position. Bring your hand to the side for some support. Bring your feet up, placing your feet onto the floor. Now, inhale, engage your abdominals, really contract your abdominals, and as you exhale, lift up the right, lift up the left, and hold this position. You have the option to stay here with your hands on the floor for support, or bring your hands in a parallel position next to you, and you're going to hold and breathe. Breathe, inhale and exhale. You can hold this for anything from 10 to 30 seconds. If you want a break, support your hands down and lower your feet slowly. If you want to progress this exercise, return to the same starting position. Inhale, and as you exhale, sit back, lift up your right leg, lift up your left leg, and straighten your legs completely. Again, you can keep your hands here or bring your hands to the side and support. Hold again for 10 to 30 seconds. Remember to breathe. In that position, it is so important to keep your back straight, not arched. Keep your shoulders back. The sixth strengthening position is a side plank position. It is fantastic for the oblique muscles, which is situated on the side of our body here, and they are so important for stabilizing and supporting our back, but also toning our deep core muscles. To start this, you're going to join me in a tabletop position. Go into a plank position, and then starting on the left side, bring your left hand into the center, roll onto the left foot onto the outside. You can place your right hand on your right hip and make sure that you are lifted up through the left side of your body by engaging your obliques. You can keep your hand here, or you can reach your hand to the top. If you feel like you are losing balance, place the right foot down and you might be able to get more lift in your abdominals and hold. Hold this for 5 to 10 seconds. Remember to breathe. To repeat this on the other side, come into the tabletop position, into a plank, right hand in front. Twist your body so you are onto the outside of your right foot. Place your hand either to the ceiling or onto your left hip. Engage the abdominals and obliques on the right hand side. Again, for more balance, support, place the left foot down, lift up and engage the core and look up to the ceiling. Hold 5 to 10 seconds. The final strength exercise for this series is bridge pose. So join me by laying flat onto the mat with your back. This pose is so good for strengthening your back and also your glutes and your hamstrings. So join me onto the floor with your back. Now place your heels as close to your bottom as you can. Make sure your feet are completely flat on the floor. With your pelvis and your tailbone, tuck towards you, tuck in so that your back is completely flat on the floor. Hands with your palms facing down, and as you inhale, lift your glutes off of the floor. If you're more comfortable in this position, that is absolutely fine. If you wanted to go a little bit further, you can. And if you want to support yourself, place your hands underneath your glutes or your hips and hold. Inhale and exhale. Slowly lower. You can repeat this for 10 to 15 times. Listen to your body. Join me in a seated, comfortable position. And that's the end of our strength series of yoga poses. Always listen to your body, and thank you for giving yourself time to do something good for your body. Hands in a prayer position. Namaste.